Do you hear that? I swear I hear whispering. Oh my goodness, there must be some really cool news coming out this week here on Talk Dragon Tuesday. Hey everybody, it is RPW with RPW Gaming. This week we do have some news and information we want to make sure that we get out to you so that you are best prepared for the event this week, because there will be some changes if you've not already got that information. Now this week we also have some other cool news and things to share, so be sure to stick around so we can get through that. Now, if you are new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that bell so you don't miss out on future videos, because every week you're going to be able to enter for a chance to win a $20 in-game pack here on my channel every week. So be sure to stick around so you know exactly what you need to do in order to enter for this week's contest. And stick around to see who won last week's giveaway. Alright guys, so this week is the Fight Pits. If you are not familiar with the Fight Pits, then this is a place to check it out. I do have an event guide series in my playlist if you want to go check that out. There will be the Fight Pits in there. However, keep in mind with the changes that we're going to be discussing today, it will not be 100%. There are so many changes coming that I'm going to have to basically redo every video I have, which is great because the changes are good. The changes are a great thing. Honestly, guys, it is a good thing. But, like I said, I got a lot of videos I'm going to have to redo, and I have been a very busy bee getting ready for this move. So, I promise you guys, once things settle down and we can, push forward, we will start doing some videos again. And I'll tell you what, I have been dealing with literally a week-long headache. I'm getting frustrated at this point. Been to the doctor and all these things, and it's just not working. So, maybe I'll be able to get my headache out by going and attacking some people in the Fight Pits this week and getting my frustration out. We'll see. Anyways, if you're new to the game altogether and you don't really know anything about the Fight Pits, like I said, go check out that video. But just so you know, this is a PvP. Last week we did a fortification, which is a minor event, just like the breeding events. But every PvP is going to have its specific, event that you're going to follow through. It will have, its rule set and so forth. So really pay attention to what your team puts out on the information on this, because they will be strategy based, which your strategy is probably going to change thanks to some changes coming to the Fight Pits that I want to go over with you today. Now, if you've already read the information on this and you're kind of confused, then this will help clear up some air for you. If you haven't read the information, you have no idea about the Fight Pits, then definitely pay attention, because there are some changes coming which could completely change the strategy in which your team usually uses. So not only pay attention to this, but pay attention to any, team emails coming out to you. Now, first, of course, there's going to be some user interface improvements. Now, if you'll see on the left-hand side here, there's like a new, visual cue for each of the arenas, the Coliseum, the training grounds, the keep, the pit, and it still climbs up just like before. But basically what they've done is a total rework of the Fight Pit screen in the game. So the visuals have been more updated to be more slick and modern like the other ones. So, such as the fortification and the breeding screens. Now, tapping onto the event will now jump you directly into the active pit that your team is fighting. So no more having to scroll up and down the screen to go to the pit if you're cleared in on the pit, or to go down to the keep or whatever. It's going to automatically put you where you need to be. Now, the screen space has been expanded on select devices as well, so when you're choosing who to attack, now you have plenty of room to see the player's stats and other important information. Now, the last thing isn't really user interface related, but it is a part of the game change, which is the fact that now whenever you get your emails per the end of the round, it's also going to include, the champion and the champion bonus for that round as well. So the emails are supposed to be a little bit more detailed, which is pretty cool. Alright, so War Dragons had a discussion, I guess, with the members of the Gamers faction players. So these players actually talked with them, and I guess they all agreed upon a few key problems, which is higher league teams often sandbag in fighter pits, intentionally staying in the lower pit rather than being promoted to another higher pit, and end up being zeroed out by stronger teams. Alright, so what this basically means is, why sit there and fight to take up top just to be zeroed out by the other teams? You just kind of stay at the bottom, sandbag, and then climb up. This is a part of a strategy that many teams would use. Then the incentive to even move to the higher pits were too low. Like, why even move up? It's basically pointless. And this would, of course, cause the sandbagging. So why sit there and fight to be at the top of that pit at all? You know what I'm saying? So the next one, of course, is the players typically would only play during the last 30 minutes. So that's all really the same problem. I know that they've listed this as 3 different issues, but basically what would happen in most every case is you would have a lot of players, a lot of teams stay at the very bottom, not do but basic attacks, and just sandbag and hold down so that you weren't considered something somebody would want to attack. Then once, the last 30 minutes would come in, then you would come in and fight hard, to stay in that top, take over, and then all the other teams that have been on the opposite basically wasted the resources. Now, this is a very useful tactic down on like Platinum because not all teams were doing this, but a lot of teams were doing this in the higher leagues, and it was a constant sandbag situation. In the last 30 minutes, it was literally just, nosebleeds. It was just brutal. So that was a big one. Now, the next thing, of course, is the mega and quit. I know this isn't one that they've really mentioned in their blog when they talk about the key problems, but hopefully this is, something that'll ricochet and help the mega and quit situation. So not only was players doing that, they wait to the last 30 minutes, but they would go in with a mega coin and they would get like 20% or 25%, whatever it was, and they would get at least half of their mega. This is from what I understand. Platinum leagues, they don't normally waste their resources, but in the higher leagues like gold, listen to me, like diamond, players would come in, use a mega, quit once they, got 20%, get half of it and do it over and over again to get as many mega coins in as possible. So this was kind of like a not so much cheating, but a expensive way to beat the other team, which really isn't game strategy. It's more like, paying strategy. So that is where there's been a lot of unfair balances in this particular event that have got people really upset. So let's see if the changes that War Dragons has put out for the fight pits is going to make a big enough difference in order to make the fight pits a little bit more strategic when it comes to playing the game. Now, I do think that it's possible that this does make some big differences, but the question is, will it? So we'll have to actually see this in action before we'll know for sure. Now, if you'll notice in the red box here, it says minimum payout, the percentage filled pit bonus, and your active percentage bonus. This is where all the changes are really going to come into play as something different. So before, whenever you would play the fight pits, like I had mentioned, you could basically just do your basic attacks. Don't worry about doing anything, major. And then in the last 30 minutes, come in, do your mega coins as waves, and then come back in the last 15 minutes when they disable the mega coins, and then start doing your basic attacks or your super attacks or your wildfire attacks, as waves with the players. And then whichever team was the most active in the last 30 minutes would win that round. Now they're making it with this new incentive that you're going to want to play throughout the entire round. You're going to want to put up percentages and points and really push throughout the entire round in order to get these bonuses that are coming in. So the first thing that they're mentioning is minimum payouts. Each and every single one of the pits, or what you call arenas, will have a minimum payout. And then each of the arenas will have what they call pit bonuses. So these pit bonuses are also going to give you an ability to make more points per round. So let's go ahead and go through the breakdown on these so you guys can see exactly what each are. All right, so that's the sound of a balloon blowing up. That is literally what I want you guys to think about when it comes to minimum VP payout. When it comes to the amount of points that your team can earn when it comes to the victory points, is going to decide on one of these factors. It's either going to be the minimum amount of victory points that your team can earn per the round, or it's going to be the potential amount of VP that your team can earn during that round. Now, if you'll notice here, the pits, you can earn up to 0 points, a minimum of 50,000 in the keep, 75,000 in the training grounds, or 125,000 in the Coliseum. Now, it will take some kind of effort in order to get these, but this is the minimum, not guaranteed amount, but the minimum you can earn. I don't know how to explain that outside of what they said. Now, with that being said, you can actually earn more than this. And the way of doing this is by your actual VP. So every time you do an attack, you are going to get a 1% bonus, right? So if you do an attack, you get 1%. If somebody else does one, there's 2%. So if you end up getting 100 attacks by your team within that one round, you're going to get 100% of the potential amount of points that you can earn. Now, this has nothing to do with your bonuses or your DK percentages. This is just the regular VP payout. Now, keep in mind, at the end of that round, what you will end up earning as a team, of course, will be whichever one is greater, whether it be the minimum payout or the potential payout, okay? And also keep in mind that these minimum payouts cannot be stolen by other teams. These will simply be something that will rack up for your team. All right, so that's minimum payouts. Hopefully you guys understand what I mean by that. And the reason I wanted to pull out a balloon is, let's say, for example, you are in the keep and you have a balloon. Your balloon is going to already have 50,000 points worth of air inside of it. We're going to say 50,000 points of pressure, okay? If you go through and you have one balloon, this is your minimum, and you take another balloon and you start doing your attacks. Imagine every time you do an attack, it blows air into this, right? If that balloon ends up being larger, then you'll get the larger balloon worth of points for your team. However, let's say it is smaller, then you'll get the minimum VP instead. All right, so the next part of this is the bonuses. They call this the pit bonuses. I think it's confusing. They really need to call it the arena bonuses because this is going to be per round, by the way. And when they're talking about climbing, climbing up, they're not necessarily meaning, up the arenas. They're not talking about from the pits to the keep to the training grounds to the Coliseum. They're talking about climbing up against other teams within each round. So with the pit bonuses, there's actually going to be a start bonus and a pit DK percentage as well. Now what they explain is that all the pits will now have a pit bonus that generates your team VP that cannot be stolen. The higher your team is in the arena, the higher the pit bonus can be for your team. The bonus will start with a certain percentage of your total points, and the bonus will decay by a certain percentage every half an hour. The pit bonus will not apply to mega attacks. That means that if you participate earlier in a round, you'll actually get more VP with pit bonuses for your team. All right, so keep that in mind whenever you're coming through. Let's say you in the very beginning are putting out regular attacks, basic attacks throughout the day, throughout the entire round. Bam, 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 bam. You're not using mega coins, right? But every time you do a regular attack, you're getting what they call a percentage. All right, it's going to give you a percentage on that. And then if you stop doing attacks or you're not doing any attacks, your points will actually decay over this time as well. So you're really going to have to balance it out and not do all your attacks at the very end. So I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. I think this could honestly make a difference in the mega coin, but we shall see. All right, so hopefully that's one for you guys to better understand. I think this is going to be really hard to explain until we've actually physically got in and done this, because I don't want to say anything and quote myself wrong. But here's your basic, like I said, the minimum payouts, your start bonus percentage, and your DK percentage here as well. Now, again, the DK is what's going to be taken from you every 30 minutes if you're not doing your active attacks. Your start out is the other, and then, of course, your minimum payout is the thing we discussed earlier on in this segment. So if you need to take a screenshot of this and send it out to your team, be sure to do so. All right, so if you want to see what's going on and what your team is doing and where they're earning and what their percentages and so forth are, this is where that little box comes in. So you're going to be able to actually keep an eye on your minimum payouts, your percentage bonuses, and so forth in that red square. Depending on where you're at, it'll be right there in that same arena with you. So that's where you're going to find that information. Again, guys, I feel like this is just too confusing to explain yet until I physically have done this event. So hopefully I get this better understood and we can get a video made up for you guys before the next time it comes out. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into our next piece of news for the week, which is they will be coming up with another special rune pack for the Red Mage Tower this week. If you're interested in it, it will be, I believe, an HP rune. It's completely up to you guys. This is not free. This is not an earned thing. You will have to pay for it. Now, also this week, they are expecting to be releasing the 5.01 release notes for the upcoming update. I'm not for sure when it'll be coming out, but the notes should be starting out sometime this week. So keep your eye out for that. I know that I like reading these because I like seeing the changes as they come in. So if you want to check that out, you're going to be able to find that over on the forums. And really, that is the best place to keep up with any kind of, really detailed information when it comes to War Dragons. Now, I will be flying to the Pocket Gems headquarters in a few days. So make sure you guys keep your eye out on, their channel, their forums, and their videos, because there's going to be some cool information coming with this. I don't want to give out too much, but I know it's me and one other player. I don't know who it is. The other player have been invited to come in and help with a few things. So pretty excited. And I'm truly honored to be invited back. And rumor has it that there will be a few guests that will be on the War Dragons live stream this Friday on YouTube. So be sure to tune in and see who that might be. All right, so if you are new to my channel, we do a giveaway here on Talk Dragon Tuesday every week. And last week, I asked everybody to put in the comments section your in-game name and a tip you might have for everybody else for the fortification. I hope everybody got a chance to go in and read them because there were tons of great tips in there. Now, this week's winner, we're going to go through and put in to the random comment picker and see what it has chosen for us. All right, drum roll please. Click that start button and let's see who won. Now again, I asked for a tip for last week's fortification. And this player actually had a pretty cool tip. Odin7178 says the base boost is not worth going for this season if you got it last season because it runs out at the end of the season and it doesn't stack with what you put in. So anyways, congratulations, Odin7178. You are the winner of this week's contest. I'll be sending your information up to War Dragons very shortly. Now, I'm also very honored because I actually made the Dragon Lord Spotlight this month, and I don't know, I'm so excited. I got to answer a lot of questions, and I love doing that. I love answering questions for other people, helping other people, whatever it might be. So what I've decided to do is to continue the questions into this week's contest. So what is going to happen is you're going to actually be able to enter for a chance to win a $20 in-game pack by simply putting your in-game name and a question you might have for me. Now, of course, this question should be appropriate. It can be ornery, but not too ornery. Keep it somewhat appropriate. And then, of course, it can be about the game. It can be something a little more personal. It could be something about the current news. Whatever you want it to be sure to ask it. And what I'm going to do is pick my top 20, maybe 20 questions, and I'm going to answer them, and then I'll put all those questions in a bowl, mix it all up, and pick my favorite answer. So this will actually be some face-op time with me and possibly my family, depending on what questions you guys ask. I might even bring them in on this video as well. So again, if you want to enter for this week's contest, be sure to go to the bottom of this video, put your in-game name and whatever question you might have for me, about me personally, my family, whatever it might be, or even the game or any specific dragons, and I'll be sure to get your answer out to you guys. So Q&A with RPW coming up next week on Talk Dragon Tuesday. Super excited about that. Okay, so that is it for today's video. If you are new to my channel or you have not subscribed yet, do not forget to do that on your way out and hit that bell for notifications. And don't forget to show me a little support by giving me a big thumbs up. Happy hunting!